kind of early. It's kind of dark yet, kind of cloudy. Actually, it's extremely cloudy. It's already came a little shower this morning. It's the middle of trapping season here in Louisiana. Okay, so I have traps. I run a trap line, a small trap line, but everybody's always, talking about a survival situation that you might be in, a bug out situation or whatever. I think trapping is another one of those skills that you really need to learn. It's you can have a gun, whatever, what I mean, but what are you going to do in a real situation where your gun is the only thing you have? Maybe that's the only skill you know, and you run out of bullets, you run out of ammunition. Then what are you going to do? You're going to throw it at them? Trapping is one of those skills that you really should learn, whether you do it full-time every year or you do it as a hobby. Everything I trap, if it gets in my trap, it goes in the freezer. I don't care what it is. If it gets in the trap, if I kill it, you eat it, plain and simple. And if I'm not gonna eat it, I let it go. That's just my philosophy. If I don't feel like I want to eat a whole bunch of possum next year, then I let a whole bunch of possums go. I always tell the boys, if you shoot something, be ready to eat it. Don't matter what it is. Anyway, with that said, I got a couple 110 set for squirrels, and I just want to show you guys that it is effective and it works. So I'm gonna reposition the camera, show you what I got, and then I'll go through and we'll redo the set for you. So stick with me, be right back. Okay, first I want to show you this. It's kind of a little open area. It's just a little open area here. Anyway, I'm out behind the house, by the way, and here is where I put my set. It's at the base. It's at the base of a big water oak. So where I had seen where squirrels had been scratching around looking for acorns. So I knew that would be a good set. This time of year, all the acorns are on the ground. So the squirrels are on the ground. So now is even a better time to set traps after all the acorns have already fallen, because they're on the ground. Okay. Now, as you can see, that was not a good catch. It caught him on the hindquarters. So I had to, and I done it before I even turned the camera on. I went ahead and dispatched him, took care of it. I didn't want to show you all that. Some people might think that's pretty gruesome, but it was a definite catch. So that's a meal right there. And if you have a half a dozen of these or a dozen of these little 110 Conibears, then as long as they're small game, squirrels, rabbits, and things like that, you're good to go. You could live for a long time in the woods. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and back this camera up a little bit, and I'm gonna redo this set. It's kind of messed up, so we'll show you what we're doing here. Stick with me. All right, let's go ahead and get this dude out of this trap. The nice thing about turn this screen around here so I can see is, the nice thing about these Conibears, these little 110 Conibears, is that you open them with your hand. That doesn't mean that it won't bite you. Okay, back this camera up just a little bit. It doesn't mean that they still won't bite you. So you still have to be, a trap is a trap is a trap. You still have to be careful. You can see it caught him right across his hindquarters there. So like I said, he was very much still alive when I got to him this morning. So there you go. Now I can see it. So it caught him right across there. It normally a good catch. You want it to catch him, around the neck, around the head area. But a catch is a catch. It's a meal. And that's what trapping's all about. You know, anything that you can, just like in the woods, you know, unless that when you're hunting, unless that gun is dead on, then hey, let me go ahead and show you what we're doing here, in case you're not familiar with the 110 Conibears. A 110 Conibear is a single spring trap. It's it doesn't weigh hardly anything. So if you wanted to throw a half a dozen or a dozen of them in your kit, you know, you could do that too. So that would be no big deal. Take my pack off here. That would be no big deal to do that. They don't take up a lot of space. You know, what are they? I don't know, 5 inches across maybe. And they work. They're effective. Like I said, you can set them for squirrels. You can set them in a little game trail for rabbit run. You know, things like that. So, but anyway, today I'm not going to get into the rabbit run thing today. I just wanted to show you, make a quick video this morning, seeing how I had a squirrel in the trap this morning. I thought, well, let me go back to the house and get the camera. So anyway, let's get to resetting this. What all you do, it's a single spring trap. It's a single spring, and it's I'm not going to say it's extremely easy, but you just got to get a good grip like that, and you want to grab underneath. You want to grab the bottom. So here's your trigger on the top. You want to grab the bottom and hold the bottom, and you don't want to get your fingers anywhere inside that trap if you can possibly help it. And you want to always make sure you got a good grip on it. Even when you think you've got it set, you still want to make sure you got a good grip on it. Now the dog has three little notches on it. Hope you can see that. 1, 2, 3. It's light, medium, and hard from the best of my understanding. That's how I always imagined it, and I always set it as far back as I can because that's the deepest notch on there, and the notch on the, I don't know if you can see that. Get around here where you can get into the camera here. If you look at the trigger mechanism here, it has a little indentation or a notch on top of it. Okay, so that's where that dog fits, is right in on top of that trigger. Trying to let you see it in the camera all at the same time and making it awkward here. But you pull it. I pull it all the way back to that last one, that last notch on that dog. Make sure it's in the middle. Spread these whiskers out just a little bit. See, it just tripped on me. That's why you got to hold on to it. That's why you got to hold on to it. Because it will bite you. It's just like a big rat trap. That's the best way I can explain it to you if you're not familiar with a conibear. It's like a big rat trap. So let's bring back down. Anyway, and then that dog, as you can see, that dog will fit right inside that notch on that trigger. See that? Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. There we go. Get it in the middle of the frame here. You can see that there, how it fits in there. Anyway, and then what it is, then I like to turn it around where the whiskers are behind it, so they have to go into the trap to set it off. Turn it around where the whiskers are on this side, on the back side, and that game is coming in this way. That way they have to go through it. They're already into it when they set it off. Okay, let's show you what I got here for a set. Hopefully I can get the camera positioned a little bit so you can see it. Yeah. Okay. This is pretty much what we call a cubby set. It's basically you just take anything and you make a hole. You make a hole where they have to go into. Squirrels are naturally curious anyway, so you sit. Pull all my limbs and leaves back up here. You don't want them. You want them to come in the direction that you want them to come into. You don't want them to be able to come in from the top, the side, or anything like that. So you make the easiest point of entry on the front. I'll all my sticks back up here where I had them. And you just make a little cubby hole. That's all there is to it. You make a little cubby hole there for them to stick their head in to see what's going on. Okay, and I have a couple. There's 2 sticks here, and I drove them into the ground. I sharpened the end points on them and drove them into the ground. And the purpose of that is you want to put that trap on those sticks. One of them goes into the spring close to the trap to stabilize it, and the other one goes around the slot on the spring. Push it down, kind of get it level. And get it positioned to where it won't tip on you. I may have to get another stick in there to help stabilize it. My tomahawk out here. Like that. I'll set it up because you don't want it to. They're going into the hole, so you want to make sure that it's stable, pushing against it. A little acorn there. Throw this chain back out of the way because I'm not even going to stake that chain down because the sticks are long enough and deep enough in the ground. It's not going anywhere. Squirrel's not going to run off with it. Now, if it was a raccoon or something, I'd probably stake down that chain. But that's a different set, that's a different day. So today we're just gonna shoot a quick video on this, setting the squirrel trap. Because if you're in a survival situation, unless it's not survival anymore, it's long term, you know, just you'd maybe because I know a lot of people, you know, living off the grid or whatever, being self-sufficient, survival is being self-sufficient anyway. You have to be self-sufficient in a survival situation, but you need to. I'm trying to cut those off there. You need to learn trapping. I mean, it's simple. It's guaranteed. You can set your traps and come back the next morning and if it's in a good area that you've really scouted out and you really paid attention to, then more times than not you're gonna have something in your traps. And it's meat is a necessity. Meat is a necessity for the body. Vitamins, minerals, it's a necessity. I'm not knocking anyone who's vegetarian, but this time of year, the winter, middle of the winter, I would be real impressed with you if you could go into the woods and live off of greens. So meat is a necessity. It's a must-have part of your diet. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody that's vegetarian. I'm really not. I don't eat a whole lot of meat. It's not like I sit and eat meat 4 or 5 times a day or anything, but it's still a must, necessity. Now you want to make sure when you set your traps, you want to make sure that you cover any access for them to get in. You want to make them go through your trap. You don't want them to go in over top of it, underneath it, around it. You want to make sure that they go in your trap. Easiest access is the way they're going to go. So put you some sticks over top of it. You want to make one little cubby hole where they can get into, and that's it. You don't want them to go anywhere but through that cubby hole, through that entry point of your trap, into the cubby hole, into the cubby set. They call this a cubby set. So, and like I said, squirrels are naturally curious. So, and they're on the ground this time of year. So when you bait this set, they're gonna and if they come down the tree, you want to make sure that top is covered well enough that that's not an easy access for them, you know, to come into your trap. So they'll go around it. You want to make sure that it's closed off. All right. And for squirrels, oops, good old whole kernel yellow corn, just dry corn. Take a little handful of it, throw it back in there under the trap, take another little handful, kind of sprinkle it out here in front of the trap like that to get their attention, and it's set. It's ready to go. Tomorrow morning you come out here, probably got another squirrel. 110 Conibears, guys, throw them in your kit. They're not expensive, they're not heavy, and as you can see, they'll catch you a dinner, they'll catch you a meal. So, hey, appreciate you watching. Leave me a comment if you like my channel, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.